Ukrainians have suffered immensely in Vladimir Putin's war on their country, but it appears the conflict is not going well for Russia's forces. By some estimates, at the start of the war, Russia has already lost as many troops in a month as it did during 10 years of war in Afghanistan during the 1980s. The Russian offensive on Ukraine isn't going as planned, as Russia has lost several armed vehicles and troops. In this video, we take a look at the damage inflicted on Russia by Ukraine and also see how the Russians are coping. Stay tuned. Before we begin this video, if you're new to the channel, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Turn on the bell for the latest notifications and updates. That way you'll never miss a video from us. With that said, let's not waste any more time and get right into today's content. It's surprising that such a powerful military as Russia only has one aircraft carrier, and that too has been destroyed in the Russia-Ukraine war. Russian President Vladimir Putin must have expected a lightning invasion of Ukraine, with Ukrainian forces surrendering arms within a couple of months. After all, Russia deployed everything it had: its best tanks, weapons, and battleship. However, Ukraine has managed to destroy these vehicles and has even gained an upper hand in the war for a while. Back in March, Russian state media showed video of the military landing ship Orsk offloading armored vehicles and tanks at the port of Berdyansk in southern Ukraine. Kyiv's Navy later said that it had destroyed the ship. Unverified video and photos posted online showed thick black smoke rising from the dockside. Russia said earlier in the week that it had a total of 10 ships ready to dock along Ukraine's southern coast, carrying dozens of tanks, armored personnel carriers, and other equipment to bolster its push to capture other vital port cities in the region. At the time, Putin's forces were hammering southern Ukraine with air and artillery strikes, trying to seize a swath of ground across to create a land corridor between the occupied Crimean Peninsula and Russian territory. But cities like the besieged port of Mariupol stood in the way, and Ukraine's forces have refused to give up the fight to hold on to them. Given the significant losses Russia is suffering, even if Putin's regime isn't telling the Russian people about them, there have been many rumors of his senior advisors coming under intense pressure. In March, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov was asked about the disappearance of Russia's normally frequently seen Minister of Defense, Sergei Shoigu, who hadn't been seen or heard from publicly in days. Well, the Minister of Defense now has a lot of worries, as you understand, Peskov told reporters. Now is not the time for media activity. This is quite understandable. Soon after, the Russian government released a short video clip showing Putin holding a meeting via video conference call with his national security team, and Shoigu was visible on the screen in Putin's office. The defense chief wasn't heard to say anything in the short clip, but the Kremlin said he had reported progress in the special military operation and efforts being made by the military to provide humanitarian aid, ensure security, and restore vital infrastructure on the liberated territories. The human cost of Russia's invasion, not only for Ukraine but for Putin's own military, has been horrifying. If the Russian leader thought he'd score an easy victory in Ukraine, he undoubtedly knows better now. In just 1 month, between 7,000 and 15,000 Russian soldiers have been killed, according to an estimate by a NATO official. Ukraine's forces are still outgunned, but in some places, particularly on the outskirts of the capital Kyiv, they're clawing back territory from the invaders. However, it doesn't look like the war will be ending anytime soon. Russia will do its best to avoid defeat and will want to keep a hold on captured territories in eastern Ukraine. One of Russia's most visible symbols of sea power is in development and is expected to be ready within a couple of years. Admiral Kuznetsov, Russia's one and only aircraft carrier, will now re-enter service in 2024 at the earliest, 7 years after it went into dry dock for much-needed upgrades. Once complete, Kuznetsov should be able to spend another 10 to 15 years in service. Russia's state-owned media outlet TASS reported recently that defects in the ship's upgrade work have pushed back its return to sea. This is not entirely unexpected, as Kuznetsov's return has met repeated delays over the past 4 years. Admiral Kuznetsov is approximately 1,000 feet long and displaces 58,000 tons fully loaded. The ship was designed to accommodate an air wing of 24 Su-33 Flanker D and MiG-29 jet fighters, plus 6 helicopters. Recent patrols have seen much smaller air wings of just 10 Su-33s and 5 MiG-29s. An American Nimitz-class aircraft carrier typically goes to sea with 40 to 44 Fa-18EF Super Hornets and F-35C Joint Strike Fighters. In addition to its aircraft, Kuznetsov is equipped with 12 large P-700 Granite anti-ship missiles. Admiral Kuznetsov last entered dry dock for a technology refit in 2017 and was supposed to be complete by 2020, but has been plagued with issues ever since. In 2018, PD-50, the only aircraft carrier capable of handling the ship, sank while Kuznetsov was departing it. The carrier suffered damage when a 70-ton crane attached to the dry dock collapsed, smashing a 16-foot wide hole in the side of the ship. Then in 2019, a fire broke out on the ship that killed 2 military servicemen. A need to repair damage from both incidents and complete the refit pushed the return to service date to 2021. Yet the delays continued. In 2020, the return date was again pushed back to 2022. In 2021, the date was pushed back again to 2023. Now the ship is due to be completed in 2024. What was originally supposed to be a 3-year upgrade will take at least 7 years now, meaning the refit is taking half as long as the most optimistic estimate of how long it will keep the aging ship in service. So will Kuznetsov ever return to service? Russia's economy is projected to enter a recession later this year as a direct result of NATO sanctions levied against it for the invasion of Ukraine. The refit was already trimmed back once due to financial considerations. If a stalled defense budget or another serious setback takes place, Moscow could find itself wishing Kuznetsov went down into the depths of the Norwegian Sea along with her dry dock. That's all for today. Hope you enjoyed watching this one. Thanks for watching.